All right, guys. We got liquid skills to the bottom right, Rogue at the top left. It's the Wardi Mondays 13. It's the round of 16. It's a best of 3, and I have Estrella, a pro Protoss, on the line with me to cast and observe what the hell these guys are doing on this new/old map pool.
Yeah. I'm excited to cast. I'm excited to see what both players have in store for this map. I'm excited in particular to see what bases they plan on taking, if they take this backdoor base or not.
The crap base. I think it's not bad for Protoss. I think it's awful for Zerg. Minerals are so important. Oh, okay. Rogue's going to go straight for the gold. Well, it's blocked, so he has to take the other base. But that is kind of hilarious. It's a very roguish move. It is a 6 mineral double gas base, and he's going to go hatch block as well. Ah, the reactive, you ruined my plan, so I'm going to ruin your plan maneuver. I like it.
Yeah, this is kind of a Dark-esque move, isn't it?
Yeah, we were just looking at Dark earlier today, do the same thing, didn't we? That's kind of funny. I mean, it's basically, this is like Zergs in Korea have just, they're fed up with Protoss blocking their bases. They've had enough. But, oh, if he can bring a second probe down quickly, dude, skills can block it. Oh, no. It's very hard to actively block that with one probe. Once you get the second probe down, you can do it with, I think with one probe, it's very hard.
Yeah, and especially with ping, I don't know if this is central or west, but it might be possible if you're both playing with very little ping, but with both players having more ping, it's probably even harder to get to block with a single probe.
Oh, we're going to go for the Korean response, is SKILLOUS. 5 probes being pulled and a Zealot. We were talking about ideal responses earlier today in that Max Dark game, and it definitely looks like this is the Korean response. You know, you do lose a lot of mining time, but you still got 15 on minerals, 1 on gas in the main. So you're just kind of saying, you know what? I want to get my Nexus down as quickly as possible. I don't want to focus on double Adept pressuring. You can still chrono Adepts across one at a time, right? So you can still punish them a little bit, but not quite as much.
Yep.
Now,
did he chrono that Zealot, by the way, or was that no chrono?
I think that was a no chrono. Actually, if it was, he chronoed probes because he's only got 60 energy. So he's used 2 chronos this game so far.
Okay, interesting. The second gas is pretty late. That means if he does want to go Stargate, then it's going to be very late, actually. So we'll see if he's planning on going Stargate anyways or not. If he was, then I think he should have gotten the second gas sooner to make his build line up. But we'll see what he's planning.
And do you think 5 probes is the ideal number, or no?
I remember thinking about this a long time ago when this was happening because I was playing Dark a bunch, and I thought 5 probes was right, but it's been a very long time since I've done the math.
Well, Zealot's coming across, first Adept as well. 3rd hatchery on the left side. This is the standard 3rd base for Zerg. Question is if he takes the 4th on the low ground or the one in the back, and where he goes from there. Gold base is, of course, always an option as well. As we saw, Rogue's already got his eye on that from earlier in this game. I thought that Adept would go for the Creep Tumor, but the Zealot comes back in for it. Nice. I feel like this is actually one of the cool things we've seen recently is the Protoss players are so good in the last year or so at denying Zerg's creep and really slowing it down. And that's kind of part of the minigame, which ZvP never had nearly as much as Zerg versus Terran. It was always more of a focus.
Yeah, I think in particular with energy recharge now, it's actually reasonable to Revelate with your first Oracle, the Creep Tumors, and kill them. So we'll see if SKILLOUS opts to go for that or not, but it is definitely... Protoss has more tools to deny a creep than they have in the past.
First Oracle starts at 340, 345. That's pretty late. Warloff's up for SKILLOUS as some Lings come across the map. 2 Adepts and a Zealot, though, should be able to deal with it. The Skibbity Forest would be a nice place to fight, but he can't get to the defensive area. The Adepts, one of them will go down, but the Zealot and the Adept making a good account of themselves. The Adept leaves the Zealot. If she stayed, they could have won that fight. He's like, what the hell? But obviously the Zealot's not an important unit. The Adept is way more valuable. More Lings are coming out. Rogue looking a little aggressive, but SKILLOUS does chase after him. Sorry for that name, by the way, Australia. I don't know if you're familiar with the Skibbity Forest. I was calling it a Cyber Forest, but Twitch chat named it the Skibbity Forest, and I feel like it just fits. Did you guys have a name for that? The pro gamers call it something else?
I don't know. Maybe I'll start calling it the Skibbity Forest too.
Did you know you can't spread creep in there?
I did not know that, actually.
You can't place a tumor. Like, the creep will spread in between, but you can only put tumors around. It can't fit. The tumor is too fat. Yeah.
Interesting. I did not know that either. Maybe I'm the one learning today.
That's it, man. This is why I bring pro gamers on. It's not so I can learn, it's so I can tell you things. It's that meme of, you know, the guy shouting in the girl's ear in the club. That's me with pro gamers. It's someone will link it up in the chat. We can take a look at it after this game. It's a classic.
By the way, the late Stargate actually matters less now because it's important. It used to be important to get it super early so that your energy would build up. But I guess it actually doesn't matter as much anymore if you're Stargate slate. It just means you're not gonna kill any workers.
Oh, that's so true. I never thought of that. Yeah, and especially if your opponent like is a bit safe, builds their spores and queens on time. You know, forcing those spores and queens is most of the damage anyway a lot of the time, right? So that's actually a really, really good point. And we are seeing that Glaives. This is kind of crazy though. Single Oracle into Glaives, 4 gates, third base is up on the front. So SKILLOUS is also going for a high value base. 10 Adepts coming forward right now. The Roach Warren is always late for Rogue. If there's one thing you can count on with Rogue, it's his Roach Warren won't be down before the 5-minute mark. Almost all of it. Unless he's doing it all in, he's so greedy. Oracle Adept coming in, doing big damage to this 4th hatchery. Dude, cancel and just snipe the base. It's super worth. Oh, he goes for it! I guess the Oracle might still be able to kill that 4th base anyway. The Adepts trading on the Zerglings, realizing there's a window. That's a lot of queens, though. 7 queens. Only 2 drones go down. The Adepts are going to shade into the main base, though. Quick abandoning that. Very good evacuation. 4th hatchery's dead, though. 4th hatchery's going to die at the same time. He's got to cancel that Rogue or send a queen to transfuse it. His queens are coming down there. It's down to just 40 hit points. The Adepts are going to shade into the natural or behind the 3rd at the same time. And he doesn't get there to transfuse the hatchery. The Oracle takes the hatchery kill. That is a big success for SKILLOUS. Did he just recall his Adepts as well?
Yeah, he did. And there's 6 of them in the natural right now.
Wow.
I will say all of this sequence was initiated because Rogue didn't do the Evo block. What Sarah will do if he's getting adepted is to finish his wall off with an Evo chamber so that at the very least Adepts are slower to get into the mineral lines.
I used to think Adept timings were overpowered till I started doing that. And then I realized if you do that really well, it severely hampers them. It makes them much weaker.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, at the very least, you shade there and kill the Evo, then you have to walk to the natural, and that's a lot of time. And a lot of saved drones. So yeah, I think maybe Rogue just wasn't respecting it enough. He's like, okay, I've got enough Zerglings, there's no way he shades here. And then he shaded there, and then he's like, well, Protoss is strong.
Yep. Spire in the back of the natural coming up for Rogue. Heavy on the Zerglings, 9 roaches are out. One of the better Mutalisk users is Rogue, but keep in mind, losing that 4th base makes this so much weaker because SKILLOUS is out here blink pressuring. He's got some Stalker weapons on that side as well. Prism coming forward, Templar Archives, and a 4th Nexus on the front. Dude, he does not want a crappy 4 mineral base. SKILLOUS is like, let's just go along that right side of the map, take the full bases. I love his building placement. Good little Stalker warp in choke points. You know, really nice usage of all that. Oracle, did it just die? Yeah, he just lost the Oracle, and he does not know about the Spire. He sees no Hive at 8 minutes, though. And I know the game's been delayed because of the early game aggression on both sides, but despite that, I mean, you still got to start to worry and go, maybe throw a cannon and a battery up in the main base, you know? Or just get aggressive. That's one way to counter Mutalisks. Attack the Zerg, forces him to make Ravages, forces him to spend his gas on other things, but he's already spent all the gas on Mutalisks. Only a single Ravager can make right now. Zergling's going to go for the counterattack on the right side. It's a big Stalker army. The army supply, 20 up for Rogue, but Rogue, a lot of that is in Mutalisks, which are not great front-on fighting units.
Yep, we'll see how it goes. Ling Muta actually can trade very well versus Pure Blink Stalker. If you have a critical mass, then it looks really one-sided actually, but we'll see. What's the unit counts right now? 8 Mutas, 18 Roaches. There's not nearly enough Zerglings for Rogue yet to trade efficiently versus this.
And with Glaive Adepts backing it up, I like the way SKILLOUS is just keeping the Adepts behind the Stalkers, right? You don't want them to run in and die to the Roaches. You want them there to stop the Lings and deal with them when they flood forward. So the really good management. I mean, how many players just throw those away? These days. The cannon did go down in the main, which is actually so nice for slowing this down. And obviously the Mutas can still just focus fire. Rogue's going to fight the cannon itself, but that does buy a bit of time. Way less probe losses than otherwise. That saves you about 4 or 5 probes. Big Stalker weapon. Blink, of course, is ready. 2 Mutalisks will go down, and you can blink to that low ground. So SKILLOUS is actually handling this with really nice poise.
Yep, we'll see if he has enough to break the front or not, though, because he is still quite committed. He's only on 66 workers. He doesn't have any backup tech on the way. I guess he has a Templar Archives, but yeah, we'll see if he can at least kill his base. Not quite.
Band-Aids, man. Band-Aids are powerful. They do manage to slap those down onto the hatchery before it dies. Stalkers blinking back, though. Good micro for SKILLOUS. Good handling of the multitasking. And even though 66 probes, or now 63, quite committed, like you said, he's got Storm. And he's got +2 almost finished. So, when he gets rid of the Mutalisks, which means he doesn't have to any more distractions, which is so nice. Just awareness-wise, you're not going to get as many mistakes out of SKILLOUS as you otherwise might. You got High Templar coming in with Storm. Stalker's getting left in the middle. Oh, Skillous with a rare mistake. Okay, does lose only one Stalker. Not too bad. He's got High
Get through
Templar.
the Skibbity Forest.
Yeah, the forest can be, it can be a curse, it can be a godsend, depending on the situation. Prism's going to go down the left with an Adept drop, and those Roaches hitting this fourth, but it's actually Rogue now, who's kind of stuck on a low-tier mass Roach army with only +1 attack, right? He's trying to come in, he should find some damage. Biles land on a couple of units, but not really doing all that much. The Roaches try to get in, but this is, oh, Skillous's Stalker's getting taken out. Good fights right now for Rogue. I think his top army should probably run away, maybe, but actually... he's not actually killing that much down here. The Stalker's blinking. Skillous, really great army split. And at the same time, he's got an Adept going on at drop at the same time. The multitasking of StarCraft players in 2024 is just second to none. It is ridiculous how good these players are at handling multiple fights. Rogue does take down the Immortals, but he sacrificed so many Roaches. Roaches are cheap. And if you're on 90 workers, these trades are amazing as Rogue. Unfortunately, he's on 65 workers, and he's losing drones behind it to Adepts. Skillous comes out way on top because, yes, he's lost workers, but he's killed so much. The units lost tab tells us a story. You might think, but look at the worker count, Pig. 15 worker advantage. I don't know if that's going to matter. Look how big the army is of Protoss. 34 Stalkers, 3 High Templar with tons of Storm, an Immortal, and a Warp Prism can join up on the front. I don't think Rogue can defend this gold base or this fourth base. I think Skillous is going to get a win with this push. 30 army supply lead is massive.
Yeah, it's looking very convincing for Skillous. He has a massive Stalker count, and oh my god, I think a Storm just got a bunch of the Lings that were on the right side of the map. Yeah, this just looks like lights out. He's got like 4 Ravagers here, a couple of Queens. That's not going to do much.
Yeah, you can kill that fourth base as Rogue. It doesn't matter. Skillous's army is unstoppable. Just so many Roaches went down. The trading was way too efficient. GG, well played. All right, guys. Skillous down here in the bottom right side of the map now is going to be going for the full wall on the left, and then he'll build probably the Stargate or a second gateway there to leave the opening. Actually, you can build it right there, and then you can have the wall on the right side. It's really nice. Rogue in the top left of Abyssal Reef. And this is, of course, a map where I haven't seen too much Zerg versus Protoss on this map yet. Well, not since 6-7 years ago when it was in the map pool anyway. But it is a map which is bigger than I realized off of memory. But there's a lot of nasty choke points. Areas where Protoss on these ledges is going to have a party. Like Zerg hate all these ledges and these choke points. Force fields and storms around these areas can be deadly. At the same time, drops, Nidus Worms in the back can be good. And if the Zerg can kind of fight in the open areas and out position, that can be massive. So I know some players go third base here, and then they actually go fourth base, fifth base in the top, because they feel like these big open areas in front of these bases are easier to defend. Whereas if you take this base, it's very exposed to like Colossus, Stalker pushes, Storm pushes along here and through this choke point. So I think avoiding this fourth base could actually be the way for Rogue to play this. We'll see if he does anything clever like that. Drone's going to take some damage there. Alright, Link Speed's on the way, fully pulled off gas. Pretty typical opening, nothing too crazy for Rogue. Skillous is not chronoing Adept, so he's playing full macro. Notice he's chronoing his probes. Second Nexus will be chronoing momentarily as well. I feel like this Nexus is a little bit later than I expected, but no, that's a standard timing. Nothing too crazy. Yeah, instant chrono on the probes. Another chrono in the main as well. Oh, wow, super economy opening. So he's basically just chronoing probes, and then he'll chrono when he gets to 50 energy, this first Oracle in about, what, 30, 40 seconds? So it'll be like the second half of that Oracle. He might actually go for third base before second gate. Could be nice since you're going so economically focused, but it's hard to afford because you're just pumping probes so hard that it actually costs a lot of minerals up front. Aha, Void Ray opening. Okay, cool. Third hatchery goes down for Rogue. Rogue, right now, he's going to be just spreading creep. 2 Tumors out the front, third Queen on the way. Doesn't know if it's an Oracle or a Void Ray just yet. If he skips on the Spore Crawler, plays on just Queens, he'll be very happy. Spore's not needed against a Void Ray first. You can delay your Spore Crawler till about 4 minutes. Build one in the main, and then just defend your third and natural with Queens. Third Nexus goes down at 3:30. That's a pretty quick one, yep. And he does go third Nexus and Pylon before walling off. And you can see Link Speed could be done now, which is why he's like, okay. Get the gate. Alright, guys, Overlord taking some damage. Spore Crawler comes into the main base right now. 20 drones on the natural, 16 in the main. Going to be putting back on gas. Usually that first lava inject goes back on main. The creep's spreading really nicely. This is what happens if you don't have the Adept Oracle out front. The creep can get out of control a little bit. So SKILLOUS, you know, yes, he's got a very economic opening, but he's going to be dealing with a Zerg that has a lot more map control from that creep spread and a bigger, like, defensive region than they normally would. Now, one thing here is with the late put back on gas, you don't have an option to, like, rush to lair. It's just going to be 6 queens, a handful of Zerglings, lots of drones, but Rogue not getting supply blocked at all. His macro has been very nice. And oh my, guys, Fleet Beacon goes down. This is the 3rd base Fleet Beacon Tempest Rush, I believe. So this is a really weird build where essentially, because you go on Void Ray Oracle and a quick 3rd, your opponent kind of thinks, oh, everything's normal. Like, this is a pretty normal game, right? And then you hit them with, like, a very late Sky Toss. You can go carriers off at first. Oh, no, SKILLOUS didn't click the Oracle away. Bit of a misclick there. That's a big mistake. That was his only scouting. Lair starts up. Rogue, very well timed lair. 445. Tempests are coming. You want to go straight for lair, straight for Spire, straight for Corruptors to deal with this. Wait, is this 1 star? Guys, what am I looking at right now? 1 Stargate Tempest? Explain this build to me, ladies and gentlemen. 2 drones just went down, which is kind of nice. A bit of mining time, but good handling by Rogue. Only 2 drones for 2 adepts. I think he's pretty happy with how that's gone. So many more drones coming out. The only thing he's missing is a 4th base is pretty late. Yeah. 5 minutes 30. In such a passive macro-focused game where both of you are just pumping economy, I think that should have been a bit earlier. Now, I really do criticize this opening. I guess the Tempests are purely defensive. I think the idea is if there's a queen walk, the Tempest can defend it by just picking at the queens from afar. But I kind of... Or maybe he's trying to, like, also force an over-response. Oh, he's rushing Mothership! It's just, I'm going to rush Mothership, dude. If he goes straight Spire, Rogue's in such a good spot. But he's going Hydra Den, which is not as good. And the Templar Archives is coming in. Oh my gosh. He's going to go Blink. Oh my gosh. Tempest, Stalker, Mothership. This is the style that Clem loves. Clem loves this style, and he made it look legitimately really good. He does it off a different build order, but he always ends up in the same spot. Tempest, Stalkers, and a Mothership. Spire's on the way, though. Rogue seeing that Tempest. Problem with going for the Tempest here is you're not really doing any damage, and you're showing your hand, which allows him to build the early Spire to counter the Mothership. Tempest to clear creep, not something we thought we'd ever see, but apparently a 6-minute Tempest clearing creep is actually part of the meta in 2024, guys. This is the new Tempest clearing creep. It's so weird, man. Creep clearing Tempest. All right, Ling's trying to take down the rocks over there. Hydra's coming forward. 66 drones only for Rogue. Might squeeze a 5th base in and go Hive. I wouldn't mind him going Hive. Does look like he wants to be highly aggressive. SKILLOUS is trying to take a 4th base with no army. This is a crazy build order, guys. This is a crazy build order. Mass Ling coming in. They don't have melee. Easy cancel on the 4th base, though. Super worth. Gets a cancel on the Nexus, gets a pylon cancel and a probe, and the Ling's just back away. Lots of Hydras being built. How many Corruptors are we going to see? 7 Corruptors to deal with the Tempest. Obviously, they'll deal with Mama as well. Storm is starting, and that's such an important upgrade for SKILLOUS. If he wants to defend that 4th base, he absolutely needs that. Mama comes forward, activates Cloak there, does take out a few of those Zerglings herself as well. Already 2 kills on Mama. Tempest here still being a nuisance, making it so Rogue can't saturate his 4th base. It's actually kind of amazing how annoying this single Tempest production has been, because it's such a minimal commitment. But I did mention earlier how this 4th base sucks, guys. And this is like that positioning we were talking about where it's so exposed. I really think Zergs are going to start taking these 4th bases along the top. Something Cyril, I believe, has already figured out in Zerg vs Terran. We'll see if players apply it to this matchup as well. Oh my god. Okay, Tempest's gonna go down, one of them. 1 Tempest falls, the other 2 do survive. Stalkers and Mama trying to defend against the Hydra Ling. They actually win that fight pretty handily. If he blinked on those Hydras, that was a massive overcommitment for Rogue. If SKILLOUS blinked forward, he killed all those Hydras, and Rogue gets massively punished. And that's the sort of mistake Rogue makes. Sometimes Rogue gets very lazy and kind of cocky with his units, and he just kind of attacks in situations when he thinks he can. But look at this. Yeah, he's going to have to run away from there. Corruptors try to P on the Nexus. They get deflected. For those who don't know, Corruptors only do 5 damage a second with their P ability. But after 5 seconds of channeling it, it goes up to 7 times the... 7 times the damage? No, sorry, I think it's 7 damage a second, but it goes up to 5 times the damage. It goes from 7 to 35 damage a second after 5 seconds of channeling it, which is really big. It's a massive boost. Like, it's a huge boost, but they need to be channeling it for a while for it to amp up. Robo does come down here as well. Lots of storms available. I feel like if SKILLOUS just maxes out, Rogue has nothing. It's just Hydra Corruptor. It's the Loco composition. The problem I see is that there's 4 probes building at a time, oracles, charge, gases. It feels like Skillous thinks he's out of the woods and he's not. Oh, that's a bad time warp. Wasted time warp. Skillous has got to run away. Skillous has got to run away, and he needs more High Templar, more Stalkers. He's got 8 gateways. Stalkers need to be careful not to get surrounded, though. Stalkers trying to pull back now. Goes a bit too far forward there. He's going to lose a Stalker. No, good blink backs, actually. But he's got cannons and batteries to fall back on. More batteries going forward. I mean, if Rogue can't get anything done, Rogue now goes Hive and Lurker Den, but it's like plan C. He's on even work, as Skillous has done an excellent job of getting to this position. And now, if Skillous can just round out his army with whatever his ideal late game is, I would imagine a second Stargate, another Robo, mix a few Immortals in to deal with either Ultras or more likely Lurker transition at Hive. And yeah, I feel like, you know, slowly trade out the Stalkers for higher quality units like Archons, Immortals, and the like, and you should be in an amazing spot. High Templar getting jumped on the right side. Cloak comes down. He does throw some good storms down. The first few storms weren't great. Those ones are excellent, but the Hydras aren't quite dead yet. Mothership Cloak comes in. Time Warp is not quite ready. Time Warp's ready. Time Warp's ready. He's going to throw it. Time Warp just came off cooldown. He throws down Time Warp just barely, but it doesn't really get on the Hydras. It's a little bit far back, in my opinion. He's got to fall back with his units behind the cannons and batteries. Skill is fighting a bit too far forward right now. Mama, she's taking big damage, but the Corruptor count slowly starting to go down. Oh, here we go right now. Looks like he already used energy recharge on one of his units. He needs more units. He should be able to hold on here. I think this was a surprisingly effective fight for Rogue in a situation where it really shouldn't have been compositionally. And it's because those early storms were not so good and his High Templar got caught out. He needs more Psi Storms against Rogue. There's no such thing as too many Psi Storms against a guy like Rogue. You should really have at least 5 High Templar banking up energy, because Rogue doesn't have a long-term game plan. Rogue is just making Hydras, Lings, Lurkers, and Corruptors. It's a very kind of early late game / mid game composition, and if you get enough Storm, Capital Ships, Immortals, Archons, all the good stuff, he's going to struggle. 0-0 Zerglings denying yet another Nexus. Great move for Rogue there. I'm amazed that Skillous managed to make it to late game off this opening. What a cool modified build order this is, but just got to make sure he doesn't take any fights like that last one. You should not be getting out-traded by Hydraling Corruptor when you've got Storm. Alright. Bit of a crazy blink forward, but he's going to push the creep back a little bit. Remember that creep we were talking about earlier? A big part of Rogue's plan. Rogue's up to 82 workers. Good creep clearance, and he's going to get a Lurker and blink away. Very nicely done, that Lurker. Going to be ascending to the surface of the ocean. +1 air weapons now coming in. Very important to round out those upgrades, and of course start plasma shields. He does go second and third Stargate. Still no extra Robos, which I always find a little bit dicey. I do think if you have a few Immortals in the mix, it's so good. He's only got 1 right now. Moving forward, that gives Rogue the ability to counterattack, and Skillous here getting into a messy position. He's going to deny the 6th hatchery of the Zerg, but at what cost? He's going to lose his +1 air weapons, I think. Hatchery goes down, no cancel. That +1 air weapon's a very important upgrade. He needs to defend that. Needs to defend that upgrade. He's going to try and come back to defend. Corruptors looking for the intercept. I think they just found a Tempest there. 2 Tempests have gone down this game. Yeah, looks like they did. +1 air weapons falls. No Cybercore, which means no Stalker warp-ins. And he's still trying to force the issue as Rogue. I thought Rogue would back away from this position. Happy to take the trade. Stalkers do deny that base again on the north. I like that the Sentry has used a force field there. He's got another one available. You got to come back and defend this. You can see Skillous keeps expecting the rotation. He's finally realizing, oh, you're not going to rotate at all. You're just going to force it. And that's actually a really good move by Rogue. Rogue just doggedly pushing in, realizing that Skillous is underestimating this push, and he's going to punish him for it. Those Stalkers need to stay back from those Lurkers. Can't be attacking into those Lurkers. Storm's needed on the Corruptors as well. Time Warp does go down as well. Storm on those Corruptors. Does tickle all of them. Gets them down about a quarter of their life. Mothership Stalker, High Templar trying to defend this natural, but he doesn't seem to have a lot of detection yet. Oracle finally comes out with Revelation. His Tempest count is at 4. They can pick away at these Lurkers, these Overseers, but he's losing 12 more probes in a natural, and that's a big mistake. Skillous going to split Zealots into 2 of his opponent's bases. There's Mass Corruptor being built behind this. Storms do go down on the Corruptors, but he's already lost the base and a lot of his supporting units. No Archons in here, only 1 Archon, and it gets popped by the Hydras. All the Storm gets used up. Zealots, though, shredding. Absolutely shredding. Nothing owned to defend the Zealots. That's a huge move for Skillous, keeping him alive in this game. Mama comes forward. She's a bit exposed. Mama and Tempest very far forward. The Corruptors will happily take down Mama. That's the first time they've managed to kill Mama in this game. She's been out since about 8 minutes. Really nicely done. Zealot counterattack, keeping Skillous's hopes and dreams alive. But without detection, he might be screwed. Where is that Oracle? It's nearby. It's just coming in from the back. Looks like it just popped out. Tempest going to start to pick away, but he's not being consistent enough at dealing damage. And the Corruptors, look at those Corruptors. Just so many of them. As long as he keeps the Tempest back, the Lurkers are shredding the Stalkers, pushing through the cannons as well. Zealot's still alive on the other side of the map. The Prism does get pulled out of there. Nice multitasking for Skillous. He needs another Storm in these Corruptors. He gets a decent Storm there. And a Tempest taking out more and more of the Corruptors, but at what cost? He's only on 3 base mining, 60 probes against 60. The Lurkers finally getting cleaned up here, and it looks like those 4 Tempests are going to start to do the work. Double Cybercore upgrades are on the way. The Robo being slowly rebuilt. He desperately needs observers. More Zealots come back in for another warp, and Rogue is struggling. He should have dealt with that Warp Prism, but he was so focused on the front, he never sent the Corruptors home, and that's cost him big time. Overseer Corruptor, very good for sniping observers, very good for sniping Tempests and Motherships. That's his whole goal here. But with Oracles now to Revelate, as long as he keeps those Oracles on a separate control group, Skillous will be able to deal with it. Another drone goes down. Dude, how many drones he killed? 31! The Prism is still here. You got to just send a single Corruptor to deal with that. The Lurker Den went down as well. Rogue here, messing up a little bit and not keeping the momentum. Skillous will be rebuilding his natural minerals. Are mostly gone on that base, though. Third's getting low. Main's getting almost completely gone. And the 4th base is still looking healthy. I think this might have actually been a better base take. That, but he's got to wall this side off as well. He's going to start pushing forwards. He is down, of course, 35 army supply. 20 Corruptors will rinse the air army. The question is, can the Hydras, with only 3 Lurkers on the ground, deal with the Archon and the Storm? Nice tag from the Oracle, but, oh, Oracle goes down. That's nasty. There is a second Oracle behind it. Tempest going to force the engagement. Storms here. Very good Storms. Oh, Time Warp! Time Warp is big. Void Ray's activating their prismatic alignment. Archon's adding damage as well. Mama goes down. Rogue just has the numbers. There's not enough Storm backing it up. So imagine 2 or 3 more Storms here. 1 or 2 more Archons. Could have beat that army. But Rogue manages to tie up the series 1-1. All right, guys, straight ahead to Jet. So it's back to solo casting here. Hope you guys don't mind the occasional. We don't do it very often. You know, we like to have a pretty consistent content and type of content for you guys to consume, but it's nice once in a while to get a pro in and get some insight. I like the way they just methodically actually think about the details of the game, and I always feel like every time I watch a Home Story Cup or I cast a bunch of games with a pro, it reminds me of all the different things that I'm missing. And there's always so many in a StarCraft game. It always feels like no matter how good you are, chatting with other players and kind of combining your critical thinking and different just ways of looking at the game can make you so much better. Now, Rogue's going for the very late hatchery. This is so greedy. This is interesting, man, that the Rogue's not tried to get an earlier hatchery down. He's just going to go take the 3rd hatchery. Yeah, I guess maybe... I wonder if Rogue, because this was played about a week or a week and a half ago, I do wonder if Rogue has caught on to the new meta with the 15 Overlord. Because 15 Overlord into hatchery is actually such a nice build. With that, because you get your drones out so early, you hit the mineral count to get your hatchery down is like 35 seconds. If you end up going 15 supply hatchery, it's such a fast hatchery that it's very nice, and it's daunting for Protoss players to get a block down. I feel like we might see a lot more of Protoss players not even trying to block. They could send one of their first probes across on a small map here like Frostline, but we'll see how that goes over time. Pig, does the stasis trap fit there? You mean on the... Are we still talking about the Skibbity Forest? Twitch chat's like 2 minutes behind in this cast. I'm not even streaming with any delay or anything. But yeah, I don't know. You'd have to go test it, guys. I have not tested everything on the Skibbity Forest. 3 workers on gas. Second gas goes down. And we are going to go for that pylon over here. I do like the pylon up here, so it kind of spots for Nidus. Is personally what I like. The advantage of building the pylon here is close enough to the Nexus to be a fast warp-in pylon. If you do get Ling flooded and your main gets breached, if you have a pylon and a Stargate out here, it's so easy to surround that with Zerglings. Whereas here, you can kind of build a bit of a semi-wall with a battery behind it. And I know it's a rare edge case, but there are moments where actually having this pylon and the Stargate be easily protected is a little bit better. Ling speed's coming in, pulled off gas. 20 drones versus 23 right now. I mean, it's a pretty straight up opening for Rogue. I do feel like when I see this 3rd hatchery, I kind of think about Glaive Adepts, but then I think about Frostline and this natural mineral line having no room behind it. Adepts cannot get behind this mineral line. Often with Adepts, you want to shade in and then kind of move around and behind the mineral line, but on this natural, you can't do that. On the 3rd, you can. The main, you can. But having the natural mineral line just be a little bit less useful for Adepts does make this map more attractive for fast Oracles than Adepts. Pig, we need a 45-minute YouTube video on what can and cannot fit in the Skibbity Forest. The memes will write themselves. The can it fit video, the definitive Can it fit ultimatum? Yeah. Memorandum. I don't know. Adept's going to come in, start damaging the Zergling. Does shade into the main. Dude, nothing here. Nothing here. Rogue. No Lings in the main. Okay, 2 Lings do pop, but he's already lost a drone there. 2 probes go down at the other side, though. Oh, it's fine. I was like, oh my god, what's Rogue doing? Okay, now we know what Rogue's doing. He's distracting SKILLOUS at the same time. Adept does shade out, but it's almost dead. 2 drones for 2 probes. I'd say this generally favors the Zerg, as long as they don't get supply blocks during it, which Rogue's done a very good job of avoiding. And these Adepts are going to back away for now. Zergling in the main, not quite able to get any more kills as the 3rd Adept does clean things up. Oracle's going forwards across the map. Adepts are shading backwards, which is so important because these Lings trying to hunt them down, and they're not going to be able to catch them. The Adepts will get back to the safety of the wall in. Well, that shade's a bit derpy. He does cancel it, fixes that up. The Ling's still dancing around the main base. Ling's waiting to deny the 3rd. Oracle comes in on the 3rd base, not able to find the kills. So much action, so much multitasking as players try to win the early game. Oh, SKILLOUS. That's going to be a big delay on regenerating shields, leaving that Oracle just sitting in queen range. Adept moves out to the 3rd. It's a red hit point Adept, but it does have an Oracle guarding it. Easy choice to snipe that, though, for Rogue. Worth trading 2 Zerglings. 2nd Oracle turns its laser on as well. I mean, I know you have a lot of Oracle energy these days, but 2 Oracles wasting a lot of energy to chase off Zerglings. Rogue's got to feel good about that one. Is natural, fully mining. Main, fully mining. If you can get a Spore here in the, I guess, the 3rd base, but it's on the natural location, then that would be ideal. Forge and Twilight come down off 2 gas. SKILLOUS is going to go for a timing attack. No, he goes 4 gas, just a little bit later, I guess. I guess just because this early game's been messy, he's doing things out of order. Fair enough. Drone does go down. He could still go blink off this, could SKILLOUS, but I am sensing a charge. In a messy game like this, I love a 2 gas +1 charge timing, just as a way to try and catch the Zerg if they're too greedy in the aftermath, which right now, fast Evo chamber, Rogue's going to be very greedy. I do think Evo there, Roach Horn there, is a bit more important in case there is a Glaive Adept, allows you to wall off like we were talking about in that last game. But look at this, 4th hatchery goes down, bit of a supply block. 9 lava. Very fast 4th hatch and melee. Super greed for Rogue, and it is blink for SKILLOUS. That's good for Rogue. If it was charge and there was a Zealot Archon timing coming, I actually think SKILLOUS might be able to catch Rogue off. Because what's the bet Rogue never builds a Roach Horn, or if he does, it's incredibly late with this build. He may go Bailey Nest, but that is not the counter to Zealot Archon the way some of those other things like Roaches are. Steps coming back as well. Okay, guys, 3rd Nexus is there. He's got 3 more gateways coming. 4 more gateways. Okay, so we're going to go 6 gate. Very standard follow-up, but oh gosh, SKILLOUS. 5 workers on 1 gas. 1 worker misclicked onto the rocks here. So it's not even idle, even though he misclicked it. Oh my lord, that's a problem. Adept Oracle's on the other side of the map. I mean, SKILLOUS is like, haha, I'm disrupting you. Disrupting your opponent is not that important if your own economy is not mining very well. Stalkers are there. Battery's easily going to go down. Probes are going to try to defend this, but I think this is a very nasty position to find yourself in for SKILLOUS. Adepts and Oracles caught on the wrong side of the map. Those Lings are going to get a good surround on those Adepts as well. At least one of them goes down. The other 2 should get caught on the way back. Probes trying to stack in the pocket as the Oracle tries to defend them. Probes and Oracles do manage to defend. Those 2 Adepts actually managed to escape. That could have been much worse for SKILLOUS. It's going to go for 8 gateways. No second Forge, no Templar Archives. Fascinating. So 8 gate blink against +1 melee. Lair's almost done. Rogue not droning very much. He's still massing Zerglings. It feels a little pig-headed. I feel like if he could get up, yeah, 5th base and more drones. There we go. Okay, there we go. I felt like he was committing just a bit too much to the aggression. Good to see him leaning back into the economy now. And he's going to go Ultras. It could be fast Lurker, but I would guess Ultras here. Ultras very good versus Stalker Zealot. Fast Infestation Pit. Baneling Nest as well. Wow. Burrow. Really? Is Rogue just styling right now? Dude. I mean, he's had a good start. Spore Crawler goes down on the 4th base. Queen's going to shut down that Oracle. Sees a 4th already mining. That's fearsome. You don't even have gases on your 3rd as SKILLOUS. And there's Lings getting ready to block these bases. He's going to try and take the northern base and just like assault this top side. SKILLOUS is simplifying his game plan to me attack top and me see if I can kill you. He's going to need Banelings to break that base as Rogue. I think if Rogue runs back, morphs Banelings, he could smash it though. Going to catch a few Stalkers in the middle of the map. Good surrounds there. A couple of Stalkers getting taken out. One of them does at least. The other one blinks back to the safety of the other Oracles and Stalkers. Does deflect for now. +2 melee, Baneling speed. Are we going to see that fast Hive? We'll find out in a moment. There's no second Evo for Carapace, which means it might not be Ultras. Normally you do want second Evo if you're going to go Ultras, but the Hive starts. No Hydroden along with that Hive, which means it's an Ultra Tech choice. Zerglings coming in right now towards that third swarming, giving up his fourth up north, gives up a queen, really good call. Clicking the Cybercore as well, tearing down that wall. Tear down that wall, Mr. Skillous Chev. And the Oracle there going to try and turn on the laser. The probes are going to go down. Oh my gosh. Stalker's diving right now. It's a bit of a base trade. The Natural's going to get breached. He does re-wall, but that battery and that pylon could go down. Stalker's pulling back behind the minerals. Drones coming in. The third base has been ravaged. The Oracles, though. Oh my lord. 22 kills and 12 kills between them. Those Oracles are killing so many Zerglings, but the Natural's being breached. And that's what matters. The Oracles trying to get there to defend, but they're running low on energy. They won't last forever. Zealots trying to get there to defend. Good probe pull. Stalker's taking out the third. Dude. Skillous right now, actually keeping his third alive. Zergling's just unburrowed. A bunch of Overlords die as well. Dude, Skillous, he's taken out 2 hatcheries. Rogue's back to 3 base. Skillous is still on 4. Skillous also is only down 6 probes. What the hell? Mr. Skillichev, what the hell, dude? He's doing very well right now. The Zerglings and the Queen's coming in. He's trying to blink away as best he can. The Stalkers, I feel like they needed to recall, but he might have already used a recall. Good blink back, though. Great positioning behind the minerals. Zealots and Oracles coming forward. Rogue might just be dead. Rogue's trying to make Banelings and Zerglings. Skillous coming in right now and hammering. Absolutely hammering his way through. Skillous was way behind off this opening, but Rogue getting burrow, going for an adrenal glands rush. It just felt like Rogue got too fancy here and didn't knuckle down on his basics. And that is sometimes the story of Rogue recently. Looks like he is going to be getting in there and overwhelming Zerglings, taking down their Nexus. And that is some really nice play there. Gets the Nexus, but is it enough? I don't know if killing a Nexus matters. As long as he can mine off the top base, he may not care. A couple Zealots warping in there or the like could do very well. And indeed, that's what he's going to do. Templar Archives coming in, Skillous way up in supply. Skillous handled the chaos very well. It really felt like things could have been so bad for Skillous. In the midst of that chaos, Ling's usually better at base trading, but the re-wall, the buying time on his natural, the saving all the probes on that natural, especially, I think, being the clutch move that's keeping him in a good position in this game. Zealots chasing back the Zerglings up north. Ling Bane, I mean, the Lings are good against the Stalkers. Bane's are good versus the Zealots, but it's very hard to actually get those units to connect in the way you want. You can see the Banelings just rolling into Stalkers right now. There's a stasis trap to fall back on as well. Stalker Zealot doing really nicely. An armor upgrade comes in, an Archon morphs in as well. We've got Zealot Archon coming across this map. Archons are a hard counter to Ling Bane. Stalkers continuing to work their magic. Units lost time, 3,500 resources in favor of Skillous. Banelings do get a good juicy hit there, but actually not really killing nearly as much as I thought they would. And look at that, a spready at the last second. Stalker warping as well. Only 6 probes go down for 4 or 5 Banes, and the Zealots take out the southern hatchery. Back to 3 hatcheries, 4th one trying to rebuild. Rogue here trying to go +3 melee, Adrenal Gland Zerglings, but the Stalkers, and now with the Archons helping them out as well, the Zealots in the back are doing excellently. A few Stalkers do get caught in the mid-ground, those Zerglings looking for a juicy surround, and they will find a few of these Stalkers. A couple of them will go down. On the other side, those Stalkers continuing to trade with the Queens and the Zerglings, trying to bait him into the Archon stasis trap. Zealot spready. Oracle plus Zealots defending out here at home as well. Dude, look at the supply. Skillous just playing an excellent game, navigating the chaos. Such experience, such good play. And he's able to push forward. The Banelings wash up, only take out 1 Archon. Skillous closes out the series 2-1.